And let's stick with the BC port strike and bring in the CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, Perrin Beatty. Perrin, I understand that you are hoping that the federal government gets involved here and helps to get these workers back on the job.
I think the federal government has no choice. When you look at the damage that's being done to the Canadian economy, and this isn't a West Coast issue. It's an issue that affects businesses and families and communities right across the country. When you look at those consequences, the federal government needs to lead.
When you look back to the port strike in Montreal in 2021, when the government did force those workers back to work in that instance, was there any fallout to that, do you think, that, lasted?
I think the important thing is people are back to work. The port is functioning well. We visited the port, as a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, and I was struck by how well it was functioning. What's important here is that every day that ports get shut down on our West Coast, it's causing businesses to reroute out of Canada to try to take business through U.S. ports or to find other ways of getting their products to market. And that's going to inflict long-term damage. It's going to affect jobs as well.
So when do you think the government should step in? Should there be more time for these two to, try to come together here and come to a compromise?
All of us would have preferred a negotiated settlement, a negotiated agreement. That is always the best alternative, but it's not working. And when they marked Canada Day by going on strike and shutting the ports, what this did was to start to inflict serious damage on the Canadian economy, damage that will amount to billions of dollars if it's allowed to continue. Every single day that we wait, the problems compound. And even if the government were to call Parliament back today, it would still be a matter of days by the time that they got Parliament back, got legislation before Parliament and got it passed and got people back to work. Every day of delay is more damage to the Canadian economy.
What's your sense of, if there's a work stoppage for one day, how long it takes to sort of reverse that? And I'm thinking of, if a flight gets canceled and all of those people need to be rerouted somewhere and get on different planes, it can be really challenging. If all of those planes, flying are already full, how do you get people where they need to go? Is it a similar sort of circumstance, do you think, with the port and the traffic moving either in or out?
Similar, perhaps, but it's very hard to quantify. There may be instances, for example, where if you're looking at inputs that businesses need or that retailers need to have on their store shelves, it may be that some of these are warehoused today and that we can absorb a short-term problem. But the longer this goes on, the more serious the problem becomes. And what we're finding happening now is the ports themselves are getting clogged up. Unclogging the ports will take time. And we're also seeing that the effects of this are spreading beyond Canada. When you get an industry like the automotive sector, where literally it's just in time, and where plants on the American side of the border are counting on production that takes place on the Canadian side that may require inputs being shipped through West Coast ports, you can see the impact that it has not just in Canada, but across the whole of the production chain.
For the businesses that, that you're really in touch with, Perrin, or, represent through the Chamber of Commerce, I wonder if this is bringing back bad memories over, of the pandemic when the supply chain disruptions were so severe and companies had to, struggle their way through that. It cost a lot and it also lasted quite a long time.
We've had a number of supply chain shocks which are being felt through the economy. You'll recall that before the pandemic, there was the blockade of railroads. Then we had the pandemic, and there's been a series of problems in global supply chains as a result of that. Now we have this. All of this drives up inflation. It makes it difficult for investors to decide to invest in Canada if there's going to be this sort of uncertainty, and it costs jobs and tax dollars in Canada as a result. So the toll that it takes is simply enormous. Yeah,
how quickly do you think Canada's reputation as a, stable part of this supply chain could be at risk? Is it, a couple of days here, or would it have to extend longer for some of those companies that are rerouting, like you mentioned, to stick with those alternative routes for the long term?
The damage started on Saturday when the strike began. It actually may have started before that, because you would have found shippers who were uncertain as they saw the strike mandate being given. They were uncertain as to whether the workers would go on strike, and so they started even then to reroute some of the shipments they were having through other ports and in other parts of North America. And as a consequence, then the damage was being done even before the first striker went onto the picket lines.
In terms of the ripple effects, Perrin, what are you hearing from businesses? What are they doing in order to, brace for the worst here, or to prepare for, if they're not able to get what they need, other ways that they can get it? Are there any specific stories you can share with us?
What we're hearing is from our members and from associations that companies are scrambling. They're very worried. They don't know how long this will be going on. And they're looking at, wherever possible, finding other means of moving their products or getting their inputs wherever possible. But that's essentially putting a Band-Aid on the wound as opposed to solving the problem itself. And as a consequence, then, what we're hearing from our members is, get the government to act. They need to act now. They need to provide leadership. What the course they followed up until now, you've got to ask yourself, how well is it working? And the answer is, the strike is going on.